In this pod, we will look at the Nazi Party's policies towards the Catholic and Protestant churches.
Christianity was targeted by the Nazi Party. The government hoped to bring it under control. Religion was seen as a possible source of opposition to the regime, as people held their faith and belief in God before all other aspects of their life. However, Hitler did not launch into an immediate attack on Christianity. He was aware of its power, with the majority of Germans belonging to the Protestant or Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was also an international power, and confronting it too early would incur international criticism.
The majority of Germans belonged to the Protestant Church. In an attempt to bring them under Nazi control, they were reorganized into the Reich Church, led by Ludwig Müller. Supporters became known as German Christians. They adapted their services to fit in with Nazi ideology and held the slogan, "The swastika on our breasts and the cross in our hearts." Whilst some Protestants were happy to support the Nazis, others were not. A group led by Martin Niemöller and Dietrich Bonhoeffer protested against the Reich Church. They established a new church called the Confessing Church. While they were not afraid to criticize the regime, their protests were dealt with harshly. Over 800 pastors were sent to concentration camps, including Niemöller and Bonhoeffer. Hundreds more were arrested and forced to swear an oath of loyalty to the Führer.
Hitler was more discreet with his initial approach to the Catholic Church. Following negotiations with Pope Pius XI in 1933, Hitler signed a Concordat, which is an agreement. In it, he promised not to interfere with the Catholic Church if, in return, it dissolved the Centre Party and removed itself from politics. The Concordat was duly broken by the Nazi Party when they declared that the Hitler Youth was the only legal youth movement in the country. This was followed by the closing down of Catholic schools. By 1937, relations had completely broken down. In the same year, the Pope publicly denounced the Nazi government through an encyclical. This is a letter circulated to all bishops to be filtered down to the masses. In it, the Pope stated that the Nazi Party were hostile to Christ and his Church. This led to thousands of priests and nuns being arrested and sent to concentration camps.
The Nazis also tried to form their own religion, known as the Faith Movement. It involved pagan-style worship and focused upon nature and Adolf Hitler. For example, an extract from the end of a Faith Movement speech reads, "We don't talk about Christians or heathens, but only about Germans." In spite of its efforts, the movement was not very popular and few people joined it.
The Nazi success in manipulating and controlling Christianity is difficult for historians to judge. They did succeed in closing down religious youth groups and removing religion from schools. In 1939, they abolished church schools entirely. However, many members of the Nazi Party continued to pay church taxes, and in some regions went to church every Sunday. In the 1939 census, over 42 million citizens stated their religious faith as Protestant. In comparison, only 1.2 million stated they were without any belief, and just over 2.7 million identified as neo-pagan. The historian Ian Kershaw noted that, in the Catholic clergy, Goebbels met his propaganda match.